Guayba. Let's go.
Welcome to TIC TALK, where Jesus
reigns.
Hey guys, it's good to see y'all again here back at TIC TALK, and we're bringing something special. I'm so blessed with what we're about to share with you. As you can tell, that this is not my beautiful, gorgeous, outstanding, good-looking, outstanding wife.
Not good-looking. Not his wife.
Long hair like my wife, but hey, it's really good to have my cacique from my Taíno tribe, Joseph Riverwind. Such an honor to have him here and be able to share with y'all about our people, because a lot of people don't know about us, or they think that we're extinct, but apparently we're still here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Pretty real over there, man.
You look fleshly. So it's such an honor to have him here with me, and how he was able to help me and serve me to be able to find out more about my people, and found out information, tracked it back. Just a great lineage of warriors. And just a tremendous blessing into our lives. They have a powerful ministry, and we work together. We serve one another, have fun with one another, and we definitely eat together.
Yeah, we do.
So, Joseph, why don't you go ahead and just kind of share a little bit about you, and then as the Lord leads, if I have questions. But I do want to address about our Taíno people and how we're still in existence, and how through major studies that you have done and research, how you've been able to find that we've been in every war and the history behind it. And I remember you even sending me that we literally had the first reservation.
That's right.
The first reservation was in our island, Borinquen, and it just blew me away. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, my man. Have some fun.
Well, I'll do traditional introduction. Taigwe, daka cacique naboria mahura, daka tais boriken, daka waribo, da duho hayuya barino. Good day. My name is Chief Joseph Riverwind of the Arawak Taíno tribe of Puerto Rico. Boriken is what we call it in our language, which means the house of the great and valiant chief. And my family, the sacred fire of my family, sits in Jayuya, which is still today called the indigenous capital of Puerto Rico. And I think it was just this past weekend, they just had it's like 58th or so annual indigenous Taíno gathering.
Oh, wow.
So we've been having our areitos areito is our word for powwow. Mm-hmm. We've been having our gatherings for a long time.
Wow.
And you touched on a key point, and that's the teaching in our school system that we're extinct. And it's easier to take away indigenous people's land if you say those people don't exist anymore.
Right.
But the evidence says otherwise.
Come on.
So 1899, we were conquered by Spain. The Spaniards came in. We're very much a tribe of firsts. We were the first tribe of first contact. November 19th, 1493 was when Columbus landed on our island. And
the lost Columbus.
The lost Columbus. We discovered, our people discovered him wandering lost in the ocean.
Now, don't get mad at us, our indigenous fans out there. Don't get mad at us that we didn't take him out, okay? We were loving people, and we took care of him. So, don't blame us for not doing it. But let me jump in here and just say this, that he even found out that we're cousins many moons ago in Journey. He found out that we're cousins. So go ahead.
Family, bro.
Yes,
family.
Come on.
So we discovered Columbus lost. Our ancestors lost in the ocean. And I also want to bring up a point about that, and that's the term Indian. Because a lot of people have a big issue with that, especially in Indian country. But we see it plastered everywhere.
Right.
And when I was doing a deep dive into Columbus's journals and just researching every conquistador, every priest, every historian that wrote about our people, just so I could, and I've found words from our language and costumbres, traditions and things that most we don't know about.
Right.
So I'm looking through his log, and he's describing our ancestors when he landed on our island. Now, keep in mind, he's writing in Spanish.
Right.
And he wrote one specific line, and it just blew me away. He wrote, "Son una gente en Dios." They are a godly people. They are a people of God. Indios is where that came from. Not because he was looking for India, like we were taught.
Come on.
And I'm going to tell you, here's the receipts for this. In 1492, India was called Hindustan. When England colonized them 200 years later, it became India.
After Columbus.
200 years after Columbus, it became India. So he was looking for Hindustan. He was looking for the spice trade route, but he called us Indios, a godly people. So I have no problem with being called Indian. That's just a corruption of what he had originally wrote.
Right.
Wow,
that's good, Joseph. That's good.
Our people didn't have cuss words in our language. He writes that we had no guile. We were innocent people. We shared everything. We're community. But there was something that happened that was very key and pivotal. And it's a lack of understanding between the European culture and the indigenous culture. And I believe this is what set the stage for the Native American Holocaust to begin, which we began with our tribe. And that was in the custom of our people, just like you were saying, we're a welcoming people. That's one of our redemptive gifts.
Right.
That we are a people of hospitality and we welcome people. At the time, we had the worst immigration policy. I'll try to say.
There was no borders, guys. No borders.
But at the initial meeting, of course, our runners went and ran to Cacique Agüeybana. Agüeybana was the principal chief of our island. We had 26 cacicascos, 26 chiefdoms on our island, which is interesting because 26 is also the numerical value of the name of God.
Wow.
And so we had 26 cacicascos, but all overseen by one principal chief. When Agüeybana came and encountered Columbus, and of course our people were helping Columbus with one of the ships that sank, pulling all the stuff out. As is our custom, protocol, you give a gift.
Right.
So our cacique, Columbus, when he saw him, took off his cloak. He had like a really fine European, cloak, and he gave it to Agüeybana as a gift. Well, Agüeybana sees the value of this really fine cloak, and so he takes off his chief's headdress.
Oh, wow.
And gives it because that to him was, this is the same value. But our people's authority doesn't come from our headdress. It's actually a guanin. So he gives him the headdress. Well, Columbus took that to mean, oh, you just gave me kingship over your island and over your people. Wow. And so there was that misunderstanding set the stage for horrible things to come.
Holocaust.
Yes. As it was the beginning of Native Holocaust. Before Juneteenth, there was our people. We were the first tribe. We were the first people to get enslaved. And it wasn't until we rebelled, and it was over 10-year war. I think it was 14-year war for our freedom. And then when we gained our freedom, that's when they began bringing in the African slaves, because we'd had it. If we didn't gather enough gold, they cut off our hands, and just horrible, horrible things. And fast forward in time, within we gained our freedom, but then almost immediately the extinction story began. Fast forward to 1899. Now, in our families, we would still say we're native, somos indio, Boricua. Right? Boricua means I'm of the house of the great and valiant chief.
Yeah.
And 1899 happened, Spanish-American War. General Miles, who just finished the Geronimo campaign, they send him to our island for the final conquest. Even in his briefings, in the military maps in Fort Benning, they say, expect indigenous resistance in the mountains. I thought we were extinct. But yeah, our military, our infantry is being told, hey, you're going to find resistance up there.
And the reason the mountains was because the Taínos took off and ran up into the mountains.
Right. And that was the Indieras, the first reservation.
Right.
So the Spanish crown, they created a border area, an imaginary border, of course, in the central mountains of our island called Las Indieras. It's still called Las Indieras, which means the Indian lands. You have Barrio Indio, Indio Nuevo. I mean, it's just all Indio.
A big Indian reservation.
It's a big Indian reservation, and that's where all the native people were. That's where we all went. And even if you visit Puerto Rico today, the culture, even the genetics, our language, everything's very different in the mountains than it is in San Juan and on the coast. So there was the American government came in, took over the island, colonized the island. And it was actually called a colony for a long time, and then they changed it to Commonwealth because that doesn't sound as bad.
Right.
But still, the extinction story was being told. Yet, our federal government took kids from our island, 43 of them, and sent them to Carlisle Indian Boarding School, right alongside every other Kiowa, Comanche, Cherokee, Cheyenne, every other native kid that was sent to be forced assimilated. They sent our kids to.
And this is documented.
You've seen the documents that I have found.
Yeah,
it's documented. The enrollment cards for Carlisle that says tribe, Puerto Rico, degree of Indian blood, full. All right, so now we're talking Carlisle, we're talking 20th century. I thought we were extinct. But yet the government's still taking our kids.
Wow.
So we're unfortunately in a limbo as a tribal nation, because being a commonwealth, we're not a state and we're not independent.
Right.
So we have no indigenous rights on our island. We have NAGPRA does not cover us at all. Like in Jayuya, where my family's from, there's still a grave of a cacique, one of our caciques, our chiefs, and half of his skeleton is still sticking out of the ground.
Wow.
And his skeleton has like this eternal scream on his face, and they have him on display. There's no protection. There's even been times where I've had to go on eBay to buy artifacts that have been taken from our graves and then repatriate them. So we have no protection, no rights. But the biggest fight has been, and especially over the past 20, 30 years, just that reclaiming of the identity for many, and there's still that, in order to claim this, you have to be this, or you have to be born on the island, or blah, 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 blah. It's nobody's fault where you were born, or many of our grandparents were actually taken off the island to go work at places. Same government systems of destroy the families. My great-grandfather was taken away from my family to go work lumber mills. He never came back, except for one time. And when he came back, my grandfather was like, I don't know who you are. I don't know you. And it was effective in destroying the families.
And they mainly took the men.
They took the men.
Right.
To Florida, Hawaii. You've got a lot of Taínos in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's something I want to talk to y'all about because we have Hawaiian families that we're in relationship with. And I've really got interested when you mentioned that to me, that there was Taínos that were sent to Hawaii for labor. And I love the story he told me about the pineapple.
Araña.
Araña
with an N.
Araña. Yeah. Come on. See, I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. I'm teachable. See? So, I want to hear about that. Now, before we jump into pineapple stories, I want to jump into how you found records of Taínos in the military. Share some of that because I got excited about that one.
So our people have.
But yet we're extinct.
Yeah, we're extinct. We're extinct. But our people have fought in every major conflict in the U.S. government's been in. The Borinqueneers are a perfect example. The Borinqueneers was a unit of military soldiers that fought in Korea, and they are credited with the largest battalion-sized bayonet charge in Army history.
Wow.
Bro, all these Boricua warriors from our island were trapped. The Marines needed to be, they were getting attacked, and the only guys that were nearby were the Borinqueneers from Puerto Rico, from Boriquen. But they only had them as cooks and, just not in combat jobs.
Well, I mean, we are good cooks.
We are good cooks, right?
Wow.
And so the Army, the Marine Corps, I can't remember the name of which Marine unit, they were surrounded by the enemy and they needed help. And the only guys that were nearby were the Borinqueneers. And so they gave the comms back saying, we'll go help the Marines. We'll go do it. And fierce firefight, ran out of ammunition, freezing cold, And they all decided, we're not done. We're going to go help these Marines. These are our guys. And so the command was given, fix bayonets. And they fixed bayonets and charged that Chinese army and won. The largest American army, U.S. Army bayonet charge in U.S. history was led by our warriors.
Wow, come on.
In Korea. That's an awesome legacy of being a warrior.
So since you hit the warrior piece, why don't you talk about our clan and how you and I are related?
Oh, yeah, because that ties back.
Man, you hit that. So I was like, whoa, I'm going to jump on it as soon as he stops. Because I believe it's key because, and I know there's a lot of our people watching that sometimes wonder, man, Ray's really always war mindset and aggressive. But you'll get to hear why that's in my lineage. And why we're that way and why we are war mindset and things like that. So if you would just throw that out there for me.
And what's beautiful about our people is that we have a warrior genetics that goes back for centuries, even before colonization, because our island had the most sophisticated weapons of warfare compared to Quisqueya, Haiti, Cuba, all the other islands, which were mostly agricultural. They had their warriors. I'm not saying they didn't have their warriors. But our weapons of warfare were amped up. Like we had gourds with pepper in it. We had pepper bombs. Of course, our bayonets, our longbows, our war clubs. Why? Because the Carib, who the Caribbean is named after, the Carib tribes would raid our island. They would take our women. They would go. So we were the defensive line that kept the Caribs from going farther north, up into the islands and up into the mainland of the U.S.
Oh, wow.
And that warrior genetics, when you're like, hey, bro, can you help me with finding my genealogy and all these things? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I remember you said, I don't have much. I only have a few names. I don't know anything about this side of my family, really, blah, blah, blah. And I just got on there and started researching. Our tribal roles for our tribe is based off of the San German Indian militia roles. And this is a role of an all Native American Taíno Indian military unit that was on our island in San German. And even though we're extinct, we had a whole company.
Y'all remember that now.
Yeah, even though we're extinct, we had a whole company of Native soldiers on the island. And so we base our roles off of that. So I end up finding that you're a descendant of one of the commanders of that Indian unit.
Wow.
And when I see the name of that command, I'm like, that's the same guy I'm descended from. Man, Ray, we're related.
We're cousins,
man. So
wow.
Yeah, so that warrior genetics is in us. But anybody who knows our people knows, we can at a drop of a dime go to war.
Right.
But we prefer peace.
Right.
We prefer peace because we know what we're capable of.
Right.
If we go that route. So thank the Creator that we have the Holy Spirit that tempers us.
Ooh, Lord. Yes. Wow. And I remember when you sent me all the information. I'll let y'all know I was just blown away, but in tears to find out, all this because again, I didn't know. And I even asked my mom before she passed. And she told me, she said, yeah, Ray, you're the Taíno of our family. And I was like, but where? And she never told me about it. But I did. I just gave you I literally just gave you my dad, my mom, and my grandparents.
Yep, you just gave me just a few names.
And I mean, because that's all I really knew, guys. And then all of a sudden, and I know it's by the leading of the Lord, you were able to track all the way back to my 10th generation.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. Only God can do something like that. And I'm just so appreciative and blessed by that. And then I wind up, why don't you talk a little bit before I go into this, talk a little bit about our tribe, as far as the perspective of our name, even our principal chief's name and, maybe some of our ceremonies and what we're going to be able to do next year, which I'm super excited. I know my daughter has been wanting to go to Puerto Rico, but what great that she'll get to see that side of her indigenous or Indian side. Right. So share a little bit about that.
Absolutely. And, one of the things that was incredible, too, was when I started finding your family records. And these are records that, not everybody got the memo on the island. Oh, this is important. When the U.S. government took over our island, Spain had done a census. And in the census, they counted in La Indieras, where our families are from, 40,000 pure-blooded Taíno Indians.
Come on.
1899, 40,000 approximately pure-blooded Taínos.
Wow.
And then the U.S. government came in, took over the island, redid the census, but took Indian off as something that you could check. It was only white, black, or mulatto mixed with black.
Wow.
But what was I finding in your family genealogies, in the records, birth records, baptism records? Mestizo, Indio, right? So it's there.
Wow.
These are official government records.
Wow.
So this has been, it's a journey of one, discovery and rediscovery in many ways. And especially when it comes to our specific tribe, we're the only ones. There are many Yucayecas. Yucayec is a village. But our Yucayeca is the only one. It's one of the oldest, formed in the 1970s, and have been holding an annual areito. We have some of those pictures on our website.
Yeah.
But we're the only ones that require the same documentation that would be required for federal recognition in the U.S. The other ones you can just self-identify as Taíno, and they'll let you in. Whatever. They do what they're going to do.
Right.
Our goal is to be able to get federally recognized. One, our island would have to become a state.
Right.
That's a difficulty because our island's divided. Some want independence, some want to be a state. So we're in a limbo. But our goal is to get our federal recognition, not for casinos or all this stuff, but just so that we can have the protection of NAGPRA over our island, and so we could protect our ancestral sites and our sacred sites and the burial sites of our ancestors.
Right.
That is our goal and mission for that. Cacique Yukibo, Dr. Ricky Parada is his name, retired lieutenant colonel, Army lieutenant colonel, also a expert linguist. He's actually one of the founders of restoring our language. It's almost at the extinction point. I think we have maybe 4 people that we could still communicate in our language with. So he got his PhD in American Indian linguistics and wrote several foundational books for the reintroduction.
Yeah, he sent me a couple of those.
Yeah, and revitalization.
Awesome. Yeah.
And he's served our tribe now for a while, probably 30, 40 years. Like I said, since the 70s, and he's ready to retire and step down, which means that next year, as Beike, and we haven't even talked about that. He's the Beike. He's on our tribal council, and the Boike is the spiritual leader of the tribe. We'll all be going back to the island for the ceremony for the next principal chief that'll be named.
Man, I'm so excited about that, to be in that circle. And it's been, I started processing, how long has it been since I've been to Puerto Rico? It's been 50 years. So this is my jubilee.
That's a jubilee right there, man.
I was 8 years old the last time I went to Puerto Rico, and I'm 58 now. So we talked about it yesterday, and I just started processing, man, when was the last time I was actually in Puerto Rico? 50 years ago.
Wow.
And to go back and to be with my people and
on our sacred grounds. And even to take the next generation, actually 2 generations, because my grandsons will be going, and they can get to see and walk around and play and swim in the rivers.
Man. I'm just blown away.
I hope we find some beucos. Beuco's a vine. I used to love just swinging on vines.
Yes, I remember that.
Like little Tarzans.
Oh man. But just to be able to experience that again, and to have my daughter and my grandsons experience that, and my wife, she's really excited to be able to, and she has been so supportive in this walk, this journey of mine of finding out about my Taíno people And then when I told her, I said, hey, Joseph, contact me. And he told me that I'm the spiritual leader. And she was like, what? I said, yeah, and I'm a part of the council. And, so she is overwhelmingly excited for me. And it's just been such a blessing to be able to find out about it. And what a journey, man.
Yeah, they'll get to meet the clan mother Carmen, who's also been there with our Yucayeque since the beginning. And this is also important. We're the only Yucayeque that are believers.
Yes.
Yucayeque.
Yes.
We're the only ones. And there are a lot of Taínos out there who don't know where they fit because they're believers, but yet they're ostracized.
Right.
Because they're one of the keys that we hold, and I believe this is a prophetic key that can unlock so much in this country, and that's that key of forgiveness. Because I am not discounting the atrocities that every other tribe has gone through, but we took the brunt of it at the beginning.
We're the first.
We were the first.
And the first is key with God.
Yes. And if we, as Taíno, as Arawak people, can forgive, there's no reason why any other tribal nation cannot.
That's huge.
We have to set the pace for that.
Right.
Because we are the keepers of the Southern Gate.
Wow.
It's not in Florida. It's not Georgia. It's where Columbus came in.
Exactly.
It's where that gate was first opened. And with that redemptive gift of hospitality and welcoming and family, community, and especially forgiveness, I believe that's a key that's going to bring unity. But it's been a hard road, as you know. We get made fun of, or we're like, what is a Taíno? What is it? No, you guys.
They can't even say it.
They can't. Yeah, Tiano. Right? I've heard all sorts of things.
I'm like, what are you saying?
Chino.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not Chino. I'm Taíno. So yeah. And that's the thing. As we make these steps, and just trusting Yahweh, Creator, God, as we make those steps, knowing that we're really intentional, and that we have our principal chief now that's intentional about seeking God. The next principal chief is earnestly about seeking God and the fear of the Lord. And you guys know how I am with the Lord. I'm like, man, I don't want to even breathe if I'm going to get, So I believe that God is going to honor those steps of just walking in the timing of the Lord. And the things are going to be unlocked so that we can do that and open that up for all the other tribes, not just on our island, but beyond. Tell me some of the other islands that have Taíno DNA.
So you got Cuba.
Right?
They're called Siboney, but they're Taíno. Taíno is actually a very more modern term.
Okay.
That's applied to us, even though it was written and recorded back in the 15th century. Some people don't like to be called that. I don't care. We're Arawak people. And Taíno is fine with me. It means the good people.
Right.
So I have no problem with that. But we as a people, one thing that in these past, I think maybe probably 20 years, I've seen a change. I've seen a change, like going in a good way. It was us establishing who we are as a people and what our prophetic destiny is and what our calling in the kingdom is.
Right. Good.
The National Science Foundation did a study, DNA study. It was actually to prove that we were extinct, and funded by the federal government, backfired on them.
Come on.
Because when they got to the Indieras, DNA results of 50, 60, 70, 80% Native American. Right? In our island, we're talking 2010.
Wow.
So that backfired. That caused a big resurgence. The last Census Bureau report says, this is a federal report, but we don't exist.
Yeah.
But the federal report says that we are the 11th largest tribe in the United States.
Wow.
Numbering over 100,000.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all look. I know some of you are like, huh? So say that again so that they can hear that.
According to a federal U.S. Census report, the Taíno, our people, are the 11th largest tribe in the United States.
Come on.
Numbering at over 100,000.
Wow.
Now, our Yucayeke, we have a little over 300 enrolled families.
Right.
But that's our people identifying across the board. So 11th largest tribe, but yeah, we don't exist.
Did y'all hear that? We don't exist, but yet the government just put this out.
Yep.
Wow.
So a lot of things are changing now, and it's good.
So how can we, let's say, for example, I still want to get to the Hawaiian Taínos.
Yeah, the pineapples.
The pineapple. Yeah, I want to get to the pineapple story. If there's Taínos out there and they're watching and they're like, man, I felt this, but I didn't know how to go through the process. I didn't know who to contact. I didn't know how to move forward. Let me just leave it at that, how to move forward. How can they contact us so that we can serve them in those steps?
So our Yucayeke's website is TaínoTribePR.com.
TaínoTribePR.com. Yeah, you guys write that down. Yeah. TaínoTribePR.com.
Or you can search for Arawak Tribe of Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Yep, contact us through there.
Yeah, I would encourage y'all, if there's a stirring and you know that you're from Puerto Rico and you desire to find out about your ancestors, contact, get on there, get on those websites, reach out. And I know that Joseph is really diligent about getting back with those. And we'd love to get to know you and contact and build relationship, because like you said, we're relational people.
We are.
And so we like to connect with y'all.
We have another really deep connection, and that's with the people of Israel.
Yes.
And our Yucayeke is pro-Israel. Matter of fact, when October 7th happened, I wrote up an official proclamation for our tribe.
Yeah, I remember that. Wow.
And so this proclamation is a proclamation of support for the state of Israel. Of course, that's not popular on our island or among our people, because of politics.
But we're extinct.
Right, but we're extinct. So what does it matter to them? But the reason why is the Sephardic Jews, when Columbus landed on our island, it wasn't just the Spanish conquistadors.
I'm glad. Thank you, Holy Spirit, that he brought that out of you.
Yep. Good. I felt, I heard that. I was like, you need to bring this up.
Yes.
There were on Columbus's ships what were called B'nai Anusim. That's Hebrew. They're crypto Jews is another translation, but they were hidden. They were conversos. They were force converted to Catholicism, and but many of them kept their Judaism and their Jewish practices in secret.
Right.
So 1493, Isabella, right, just like Isabel and Ahab, right? We see that story, Isabel and Ahab, right? What did Queen Isabel want in the Bible? She wanted the vineyard. She wanted the land. Right? Ahab didn't do nothing. He was worthless.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jezebel, which is where we get that name from, takes the land. It's the same story.
Oh, wow.
1492, it's Queen Isabella. The same name, same story. She wants whose land? She wants our vineyard. She wants our lands.
I never connected that. Wow.
Yep.
Oh,
so it's that same spirit at work. Now, the Jews were kicked out of Spain, Inquisitions, all that. They were kicked out. Where was the first place they landed? On our land.
Wow.
We were the first tribe to welcome and give refuge to the Jews that were fleeing persecution in Europe. And there were Sephardic Jews that when they saw what the conquistadors were doing to our people, in my first book, that's what the old ones say, I go into detail. Right? It's horrible. It's like October 7th all over again. Wow. That type of atrocity and massacre. And there were Sephardic Jews who saw that we were going through the same thing they were going through. And there were those who actually went into the mountains and ended up fighting with our people against colonization and fought for our freedom. So our Yucayeke, and when people from our island do their DNA and they're like, why is it popping up Jewish?
Yeah. You
know, we have a blood tie connection as well.
Wow.
So not only do we have a blood tie connection genetically, many of us, with the Sephardic Jewish people, with Israel, but as a Yucayeke, and according to the traditions of our ancestors, they helped us fight a common enemy. Therefore, we always have a covenant with their people.
Wow. Man. That does blow me away. And many of you guys know we support Israel here at the Impact Center, and Joseph has done a lot extensive work in Israel, and God's doing some major things with him and his wife, Dr. Laura Lynn, and with the people of Israel, really with our people in Israel, because we're in covenant together. And I'm gonna share this. We have a Jewish congregation here, and I remember when I shared with the Zaquin teacher about how we were going to kind of set up the building. He really stopped and he asked me. He said, "Hey, Apostle Ray, are you Jew?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "Well, you really do think like a Jew." And I was like, "Okay." And he goes, "Well," and I said, "Why do you say that?" "Because you say this and you're saying this and you're looking at, and you're about community, you're about relationship, you're about family." And then all of a sudden I shared with him, "Hey, look what I found out." So he said, I told you, but I didn't know. I didn't know that, that was a part of my DNA and my family and, the lineage that we carry. So
I would like to. Can you imagine if we had a delegation just from our tribe? And we have the connections in the government in Israel because we're First Nations ambassadors to Israel. Mm-hmm. And to have just a gathering like that and just to honor the people of Israel in Israel for helping our people achieve our freedom from the Spanish crown. That would be awesome.
We're going to pray for the Lord to manifest that. Yeah. Because that would be awesome. And in our language.
What floodgate would that open for the tribes?
Come on. Wow.
Pineapples.
Wow. Okay. So we have spiritual sons and daughters, and I have a daughter here. Actually, I have two daughters that are Hawaiians, and one is, she's half Puerto Rican and half Hawaiian. So y'all get to talking, and we're going to look, you're going to research for her. And then I have another daughter who's Puerto Rican. So all of a sudden, you and I get to talking, and you start telling me about pineapples and how they got to Hawaii and the Taínos in Hawaii. And I'm like, no, this is just... I mean, we get to talking. I always find out something, and I'm just blown away. So share with us how Taínos from our island got to Hawaii.
So, federal government.
Whoa. But yet we don't,
we don't exist. No, we don't exist. Federal government, Indian policy.
We're extinct.
Yep.
Okay.
Indian policy to, providing work, providing jobs.
Oh, okay.
Which really it was remove the head of the house, remove the father from the home.
What they did in America.
Wow. Remove the fathers from the homes. And then, of course, everything falls apart.
Right.
So my great-grandfather was one of those. He was taken to the lumber mills in North Florida. And a lot of Boricuas were taken to Hawaii. So the reason why we were saying pineapple, anaña, in our language, pineapple is one of our traditional crops. Mm-hmm. A lot of the New World food comes from our people. And even so, a lot of the names of that food comes from our people, like tabacu, guava, anaña. These are all Taíno words.
So wait, okay, now you bring up words. We'll get back to the pineapple, guys.
Right.
How did America get the word barbecue? Where did that come from?
Barbecue. It comes from barbacoa, and that's not a Spanish name. That's not a Spanish word. Right? Our people were the original barbecuers.
Come on.
And the word barbacoa is exactly what it is. It's an open pit flame, and then you've got the bars that we would use with reed, just like a grill. We didn't have metal. And it's a barbecue. It's an open air fire barbacoa.
Barbacoa. So barbecue came from the Taínos.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow. So the pineapple was one of our staple crops, our ancestral staple crops. Of course, squash and beans, corn, maize, and all that. But the pineapple ended up, because we're an island nation, and I don't know who the powers that be, whoever decided, hey, let's take the pineapple and let's take it to Hawaii along with these people. And even though Hawaii gets a lot of the credit for great pineapples, I mean, they have beautiful soil with volcanic and everything, the pineapple came from our people.
Wow.
But what's happened, and I wish I could remember what they were called. They actually have a certain name that the Hawaiians call the Taínos who are mixed with Hawaiian, indigenous Hawaiian. I wish I could remember it. But there is a small population of those descendants still there, still very proud of their Taíno Hawaiian, heritage. But many who have not reconnected because they were forced removed from their ancestral homelands, their grandparents and great-grandparents.
Wow. Guys, I don't know about y'all, but I get blown away always talking with my cuz and also my cacique, Joseph. Listen, and we're going to continue this. This won't be the last one because I do believe that we want to be able to share about our people. And because there's many out there. There is so much, and there's many out there that didn't know, or they're of the thinking where they're extinct, they don't exist. But as you can see, there's history that proves that the Taínos, the name Indian came from us. A lot of the first things that our Native Americans faced first started with the Taíno Indians. So I know that there's more history that we'll bring to you, and maybe one day we'll figure out how we can do this from your home in Kentucky, and we do it from here.
And then we'll do it from the island.
And then we'll be live in living color on the island and just having a great time and connecting with all my people and your people and just having a great time. So I just want to say thank you so much, brother. Thank you for all you've done for me, and just opening the door to a new level, even in understanding the authority that God has placed on my life. So I am forever grateful for all that you have done for me. And look forward to our next one, man.
Absolutely.
This was great. Did you have anything closing you want to share?
I do.
Okay.
Because of the lack of forgiveness, this is the opposite of this is the gift that we carry is forgiveness. Mm-hmm. But a lot of our people are walking in unforgiveness because of what the church did to our people. Every Native person has gone through this.
Right.
As a result, there's been a quote, there's always a counterfeit.
Right.
A revival going back to the old ways. Mm-hmm. But our people are stuck. It's like a historical trauma stuck in 1492. And biblically, we know that one of the punishments for losing your land is when you start worshiping other gods. Mm-hmm. Our ancestors used to only worship one God. And you said it earlier, Yahya. Mm-hmm. That's our name for the Creator. And it means the supreme spirit of spirits. He's also known, Yahya is also known as the God of the flood, mm-hmm. because we also have a flood story.
Right.
And in our stories, Yahya has a son named Yael, mm-hmm. whose symbol is a fish. The gospel was prepared. Our people had prophecies. Mm-hmm. That Guamikena, people, pale-faced, bearded men covered like turtles, would come in 3 strange war canoes, and that they would bring a completed knowledge of Yahya to our people.
Wow.
Because we knew the Creator already,
right?
But we didn't know the Son. Even though in our stories we knew the Creator had a son, but we didn't have the Word. And so this is why we didn't believe the Spaniards were gods and all this stuff like what's written. No, we believed in the prophecies.
Right.
So when we saw the Niña, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, and here comes these strange bearded, pale-faced people covered up like turtles, conquistadors. Mm-hmm. We said, these are the prophecies. This is why we welcomed them. We thought this is what we've been waiting for.
Right. Wow.
But it was a sword in one hand and a Bible in the other. The witness that came actually drove a wedge between our people and the faith. And of course, this was Catholicism at the time.
Right.
But I want to encourage our people, if they're wanting to, get back to our traditions and our customs. We do have beautiful traditions as Taíno people and beautiful customs. But many of them are wrapped up with a new worshiping of semis, of these other gods and spirits. Now, that's where our people were at 1492. But that's not where our people began. So in this restoration, we need to go back, get past all these gods and goddesses, and go back to the root where we only worshiped one God. And we knew that he had a son, and we were waiting for that message. Because that son, Yael, Yeshua, the great chief cornerstone, died so that every nation would live. So that's my final closing thoughts. Don't get caught up in a lot of the if you're seeking, come to us. Come to us. Talk to us. I am more than happy to talk to you. He's more than happy to talk to you. And we can guide you on how you can reclaim your heritage, your culture, who you are, and your prophetic destiny as a Taíno.
Come on.
Without getting muddled up with all this other stuff.
Wow. Man, that was powerful right there. That was a great closing. So, hey, guys, thank you so much for watching us. And as you know, contact us through our social media sites, email. We love you guys, and we greatly appreciate you and look forward to seeing you soon. Again, right here on TIC TALK, where Jesus
reigns. Yaya kakona choreto guari.